Hello and welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk about UGC and how my UGC journey has been going so far and how it has been in fact quite the journey. I think it's particularly interesting to hear about it from a UK creator, if I do say so myself, because we hear a lot about how people are getting these like 5 to 10k months in America and how it's just blowing up for them, and honestly it's not been like that for me, and I just want to be honest about it. I've definitely learnt some tips and tricks along the way that have helped kind of speed things up a little bit and get things moving more, but it's not exactly as people are making it seem. So yeah, let's kind of debunk that a little bit, I guess. Also, it's such a miserable day today, which should be horrible, but I'm just so happy. It's just like properly like autumnal vibes today, which is, I got this little pumpkin mug. How cute is that? Home bargains. It was like £3 or something. Amazing. Maybe $2.50. Another point of the video. Anyway, I officially started my UGC journey years and years ago. I think before people were calling it like this UGC thing. I did my first job for a skincare brand, and it was one of the creative video for us. It was £25 and I got a free product and I was over the moon, and I didn't have to post it anywhere. I just made it for them and gave it to them, and that was absolutely fantastic. So I was really happy with that, and then I didn't really think much of it. All I knew is that I absolutely enjoyed it, but I didn't think, as someone without like a massive following, that like the influencer kind of vibe like was for me. I just didn't think it was an option whatsoever. And then cut to today, and I've never felt more like an influencer in my life despite having not a big following. But it definitely, I don't know, influence is such a controversial term these days, but it definitely kind of feels like all the good points of that I've always wanted, that mainly the content creation side of it. I've always been really excited in creating content, and that's just amazing. But I always do this when I film these videos. I have so many thoughts, and they just, even though I plan them out, they just all come out everywhere. Yeah, okay, so let's go back to what changed, I guess. So only in the last maybe like 6 months have I really started taking UGC a little bit more seriously, to the point where it's kind of my fault. Like, I left my job and I'm doing this instead. So I had a full-time job with a full-time income and stability and all that kind of stuff, and I'm said I'm doing this. And I'll be honest, I planned for it to be, not like a set thing, and I knew it was going to be a little bit difficult. So I had savings set aside and everything like that, but it has been a difficult few months, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, and I would really say only in the last month or so is it actually picked up, and am I actually feeling a little bit more stable with it. I got a really interesting job offer this morning, which is something I really want to touch on. So the job offer is for, it's like a piece of technology. I don't want to go into too much detail, but it's like a piece of technology that's not glamorous, is my point. I think a lot of us coming into this are wanting the gifted stuff with payment, but getting loads of free parcels of like beauty and skincare and fashion. And I'll be honest, I get that as well, which is lovely. Like, not to the extremes of like these YouTubers with all the PR lists and everything like that, but I get stuff through the post. It's like skincare stuff or some gorgeous boots. Oh my goodness, like knee-high boots, amazing. And I get like I get this stuff coming through, which is great. But because so many people want to work within that kind of niche, like the glamorous side of this job, it's a lot harder to get into, which is where I found myself leaning more towards working with like apps. I've done a lot of dating app videos, as you may have seen, which is not something I thought I'd go into, but they are great because you can do it on the day. Like, you don't have to wait for a product to come through, and also they pay pretty well because it's a little bit more, I don't know if glamorous is the word, but you know what I mean. Similarly, this new product is the biggest deal I've had yet, and yet it's with something that isn't generally what a lot of us would kind of sign up for to begin with. And I'll be honest, even I was kind of hesitant at first, but then I thought, get a grip, who you trying to impress? Just, you gotta pay the bills. So I think maybe in the future there is the room to niche down a little bit more, but right now my priority is getting as much work as possible, getting in contact with as many like agencies and brands as possible, and just really getting my name out there as a UGC creator. How have I been finding work? Well, there's a few options, and I'm going to lead with the one that I don't really see people talked about, because you do have to pay for it, but the pay cancels out. So like, girl math, hear me out. So I've been using Backstage, and I think you can do different deals, but I think it's about £14 a month or something like that, and they have a UGC opportunity in there. But I've made more money from that than I have any other platform, and so that £14 is nothing, because without that £14 I wouldn't have made the money I'd made on it, so it really does cancel out. Upwork I like as well. I find that that's very hit and miss, but it's not too bad, so I'd give that a try. Fiverr, I've been on there for a good few months now, and my profile is, to me, good, really good, and it's not getting any traction. I've tried changing the pricing, I've messed around with like different keywords and stuff, and I've had a couple of very like nothing like conversations with people. I've had like some kind of like scam related things on there, and it's just not been for me. But people make a living off of that. I think it could be more handy for virtual assistant style stuff if you're just looking to make money kind of thing. But UGC, it's not really been for me. But you can literally see people on there who have had loads of jobs, so it is dependent on the person. And then I think the biggest thing has been my TikTok has kind of been catered to being a UGC creator a little bit more now, and because I post UGC related stuff on there and examples of work and other videos like this to try and help people have come to me, which is my favourite kind of contact, because I've been doing a lot of outbound stuff and really not seeing many results. I get emails like, oh, here's the PR email if I've asked for it, if it's not clear on the website, or we'll put you on a waiting list for if we've got an opportunity, or I've had a few jobs from there, but just generally it's been a lot slower, and I just want to be honest about that. I do believe that all these people are doing really well, but in the UK I do think it's a lot harder, which is why I would do my best not to limit yourself to physical products as well, because there's no reason in my opinion why you can't promote a product from elsewhere if it's like you don't need it physically, if it's like an app and you can talk about it. Within this there comes things like voice acting and stuff, and a lot of like script work and everything. So in theory, even if you had to like, I don't know, read a script in the way they want and it'd be really specific to that, it's not what I think some people are signing up for, but it is what works and what pays the bills, and that's for me. I want this as a full-time job and a full-time income. So yeah, being picky isn't my thing at the moment, but I completely get why people are. I just wanted to be real about it, like, cause you gotta take some jobs that I think you probably didn't sign up for when you first got into the whole UGC thing, I think. So, money. This is a fun one. So let's just talk about last week, okay? I had a really good week last week, UGC wise, the best week I've had so far. So I got a load of brand deals, and a lot of them were more inbound than anything, which is fantastic, and it kind of shows that I am moving in the right direction, even though it's taken ages to get here. So yeah, I'm going to give you a number, but please be aware that this number isn't the amount of money that I made last week, it's the amount of deals I signed, contracts I signed, and will get that payment in the upcoming couple of weeks. And I'm saying that as if the number's going to be crazy. To based on what you've heard from a lot of people, the number is nothing. But last week I got £1,000 worth of brand deals, which is huge to me, and I understand that might not be a lot to some people, and I also really don't expect every single week to be like that. But if even 2 weeks of the month could be like that, that's me sorted for the month. This is not me making the 10k that other people are making, but if at some point I could get that to be every week, that's 4k right there. That's crazy. I don't need that much money. I just want to make enough to live happily and not have to get like a proper job, because that is not for me. I've been there before quite a few times, and it sounds ridiculous. It sounds like, I guess, almost childish or like lazy, but it isn't about that. I have some problems up in here that just mean that I just generally struggle with the big days, I think. So if I can do as little as possible and have more room to take care of myself, which I know it feels like so just spoiled, but it's really not like that. I'm not trying to, I don't know, everyone's just different, and I think that should be okay these days, to adapt life to the way that you need it to be. And I've had quite a few conversations with different people, and I know some people who really like the 9 to 5 and that works for them, like the stability, which I do get. I like the idea of stability, but like all of that works for them. Going to an office, having that set routine is really good for them, and I love a routine, but not that many hours, thank you. And then I've also spoken to someone else who really encourages the style of work that I'm doing, and really encourages the fact that I'm trying to make life the way I want it to be, rather than like conforming to the way that everyone else has decided we should live. And it's all a load of everything. So I don't know, I'm happy with what I'm doing so far. I'm happy with UGC and I'm absolutely loving it, and I really think this is going to be it. I think it takes time, and I think it's hard. I think it's difficult in its own way, even though a lot of people say, oh, you just film and stuff. You do have like brands that are kind of difficult to work with, and you get people who are demanding things that are kind of ridiculous, and I think pricing can be a really awkward one. As I say, I'm not in a position at the moment where I am fighting back too much, but I do still have rates set, and I have kind of like standards for myself that I'm trying to stick to. I had someone the other day offer me, it was a good kind of package deal, but when you broke it down, the videos were like £5 a video, which is absolutely ridiculous. There is no point in you doing it, and I think that there is a line, like there's a line where like we need the money, but then there's also a line, I think that, I don't know if self-respect would be the term, but I want you to know that you are worth more than that, and I know that it's easier said than done, and sometimes you feel like you should just take everything, and there is a job that I've done not that long ago, which is quite a lot of videos, and financially it was nowhere near as good as what I'd normally go for, like quite dramatically different, but in my head I was like, well, that's about 3 hours worth of work really when you break it down, and that will really help me out. Like that was like my electricity bill sorted, and at least that's like one thing less to worry about, or like all my bills sorted actually for the month, not including like my mortgage or anything like that, but yeah, you know what I mean. It's like when you really break it down and what other people are on hourly, it works out amazingly. So yeah, I don't know, it's all very difficult, and in terms of setting rates, I think you'll get told loads of different things, and if you want me to do a full video on this, I will, and before I do a full video on this, I've been going to try and collect some database on what other people are pricing, and if you are a UGC creator and you are willing to share that kind of information, please DM me on Instagram, probably is the best place, or if you want to leave a comment, feel free to do that, because I think it's good to be open, but let me just check my facts before I say anything, because I don't want to undersell anyone or anything like that. On the whole, I'm absolutely loving it, and I think it is harder than it's made out to be online, it really is, but I think it's going to be worth it, and I think it's like with anything, it's not supposed to be easy, I don't think. I think things take time to build up, and I'm currently working on bringing my website back. I used to have a website that I loved so much, but I couldn't really justify the price of it, and I didn't use it for selling stuff as such, but right now I've got a portfolio that I would love to put onto a website instead, and then also on the website monetize it with kind of like blog posts and affiliate links, and have some digital products on there, maybe something like that. I'm really looking into Pinterest a little bit more as like another source of income, and I'm kind of talking about that on TikTok a little bit more. I might do a bit on here about it as well, but I'm basically doing anything I can to not have to go and get a real job, because it was not good for me. Like it was, to me it was, what was the point? And this is purely the way my head is and stuff, but like, what was the point in working all these hours, earning this money, to have no energy or like just no capacity to do anything with that money, because I was working all the time, and like it was just not good for me. I don't think this is nice. This is better, slower but better. Yeah, I'm prepared, but I'll keep updated on my journey. I'd love to hear about your journey if you're doing this too. It's just great. It's just great, and I think the community is really nice. You get a lot of people really lifting each other up, and it's just wonderful. So yeah, if you're thinking about this, go for it. If you're kind of on the fence, maybe you're in a current job and you kind of thinking, I would really suggest get some savings behind you first. I don't know what I would have done had I not done that. Oh my goodness. Yeah, have some savings, because you can have a few low months, and forever, like it probably isn't always going to be guaranteed. You can get really good retainers with people, but it is one of those jobs where it is a little bit like with anything kind of freelance, or you're a business owner essentially doing this, so do remember that, please. But yeah, it's really worth it, and yeah, we'll get there together. I'd love to hear about your success stories too. I hope this hasn't been too miserable, because I am happy about it. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have any video suggestions in the comments below, and I'll see you soon. Bye.
Let's do it again, do it again. It's worse when you're not here.